8:40.
Hey everyone, good morning. It's around 9:30 and we just booked a load. So I'm going to talk you guys briefly through what we're doing right now with slow season, how we're getting around it, are the rates getting better, what areas to avoid, what areas to stick to. Should you start a trucking business now from scratch? No.
These chairs, they're like made for big butts. These chairs are
big. I know.
My little butt cheeks are like here and the chairs are like
So today we booked a load at Mother's house in Kansas City. And I'm going to show you guys a really quick little view of the yard. This is life. I love how big it is here. They're doing some work on the street right now. But I love it here. It's so nice to come here after trucking and being so confined and having like this yard. It goes all the way back there, and in the morning there's deer. That yesterday morning there was 5 deer that came running from here, and we don't even live like that country. This is in Independence, Missouri, pretty much. Yeah, it is. Okay, so hopefully I still have the load pulled up. Yes, I do. So we just booked this load. Okay, I had to switch to my other camera because so I switched to this other camera because my other one stopped working. So I'm going to walk you guys through the load we booked. So this is the load that we booked. I'll put a screenshot up here. But basically it picks up tomorrow. Right now we're in Kansas City, Missouri. And as you guys know, we don't do loads here normally. So all year we just do from LA to New York or anywhere in the East Coast. So it's been really slow and the rates have been really bad there. Like cross country right now has not been popping. It's been a little better out of the East Coast, but in the West Coast we haven't done it for a couple months now. So basically what we're doing now is improvising. So I don't recommend during slow season doing cross country loads unless, I can't speak for reefer or any of that, but just dry van. The only way it'd be worth it is if you have multiple stops. But I've been on this load board every day for the last month, literally just keeping an eye on the rates from all the spots that we generally go to, and it's been pretty bad. I mean, it's been like $5,000 to go cross country, which, as you know, with the current fuel prices, that's insane. Like, your profit margins are so freaking low. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Hi, Dan.
Hey, what's the Wi-Fi password?
Best guess, all lowercase.
Okay, alright, thank you.
Thanks, bye. Okay, so yeah, that being said, I really wanted to film this out of the truck this morning, but I got on the load board and just like, it just started working. So I didn't even have a chance to go to the truck, which we parked right around the corner. It's so convenient here. I love the Midwest, and I love the Midwest. I love the country, I just have to say. All right, so first I'm going to start off by telling you guys my search. I haven't even finished calculating the profits on this, but once you hear the load, you're going to know why. So my search, right now we're in technically Kansas City pretty much. So I did Kansas City going anywhere. I did a 200-mile radius. I did van or reefer, van with team, van by itself, and then I did van air ride. So there's 4 different filters. And then I also just had the search at 40,000 pounds. Recently during slow season I've had it at 44,000 because this is why we bought a stronger truck, so it can handle loads like that. But luckily we haven't had to take any loads like that yet. That would suck. We don't, as you guys know, we do light. We do light. And then I've been on here for like 5 or 10 minutes. I also did some more filters while I was searching. Do you guys want me to do like a little mini like class on this? I feel like that would be like a super detailed class, like live videos every week of me booking loads and how it changes, because I've noticed every year is not always the same, but it's kind of consistent in that way that it's has some similarities. But this year is a little different than last year. For example, last year slow season ended, I think it was the first week of April, and our rates were almost back up to the good spot the first week of April. Now right now is the end of April, practically the beginning of May, and it's absolute crap in the West Coast. and anywhere. Honestly, right now, almost everything on the whole West Coast is pretty jacked. I don't know what's going on. I have not been totally keeping up with the news, and maybe there's stuff going on that is affecting that, but all I know is I'm not bringing the truck there. So right now I'm keeping on the West Coast and the Midwest, and the South is doing okay, and the North is like, you know, there's pretty barren up there. So I did some searches. Texas is okay. Midwest is pretty good. All the states from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast are pretty good. You can get more than $2 a mile. You can even get $3 a mile. This load, all right, are you guys ready? Okay. I don't know if you guys are ready for this because you guys know how bad the load board has been out there. So we booked this with e-shipping, which we can work with, and no internet on the property. The vacation rental has no internet. Okay. In the middle of filming this, hey babe, you want to help me?
Hell yeah.
So I need to figure out why there's no internet at the house. Dan said there's just no internet at all. So I'm gonna call.
That's
have
weird.
you call the Xfinity
Yeah.
and see.
Let me know when you're finished. I've got a plan for today. My calendar went off that I got to get the truck aligned. The petrol up the road over here in Oak Grove does alignments, DOT, trailer inspections. They have like a 3 to 4 hour wait.
We're in Kansas City right now. Because I did the 200-mile search, I was going to go to 300 if it was really bad and I couldn't find anything, but I was able to do 200-mile radius. So the load picks up tomorrow. Oh, another search that I did as I did today and tomorrow, which I do like that about the load board. Just because, I don't know, I had like a feeling about it. So I'm going by my feelings apparently today. So this load picks up in Springfield, 165 miles from here, okay? I'm gonna write this down so you guys can see. So here we are here in Kansas City, okay? So that's where we start. So we're gonna go 165 miles to Springfield down south. And then we're going to go from Springfield. Our first drop, it's a multi-drop. Our first drop is in Jasper, Indiana. Jasper, Indiana. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm calculating the total miles since they have a bunch of stops. But I know it's going to be really great regardless. So I have Springfield, Missouri to Jasper, Indiana, which is the first stop. And that is 417 miles. And then next, we're going from Jasper, Indiana to Carlisle, which I think is how you say it, Pennsylvania. That is 635 miles to Carlisle, PA. Last stop is pretty much in Buffalo, New York. So we're gonna do Carlisle to Buffalo, New York, and that is the route that we would take. And it's 300 miles to, I'll just write Buffalo. Okay, and now I'm gonna add these all up. I didn't even tell you guys yet how much we got paid for this load, or how much we're getting paid. We're gonna pick it up tomorrow, so 165 plus 417 plus 635 plus 300. So I got all the deadhead in there. So total miles is 1,517. Piece of cake, right? So piece of cake, 1,500 miles. Ain't nothing but a G thing. Ain't nothing but a G thing. Okay. And how much we got paid for this load? It was posted for $7,000. So of course I called them right away. But we didn't even ask more questions. But he just said, oh, it's paying $8,000. And we were like, okay. We don't need to talk that up because sometimes the broker's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and call my manager and I'll call you back. We don't need to fuck with that right now. Okay, so it's paying $8,000. Now what I'm gonna do is figure out the expenses real quick, just cause. So this load's gonna take a week and it's not a team load, and that's just perfectly fine, especially right now. So basically we're gonna do 8,000 divided by 1,517 miles, and the total is $5.27 a mile, and that's including all the deadheading and all the deadheading, all the miles for all the stops, etc. And now for a week, let's see what our expenses are. So for our expenses for 1 week, let's do fuel, truck, insurance, and then 12%, and then bobtail. This is kind of like a general thing. Okay, so the fuel for this, how I calculated it is, if it's not an extremely heavy weight, then I know the average that we're going to pull. If we're pulling more weight, then I'll automatically put the miles per gallon we're going to get lower. And if we're going through a lot of mountains, which we're not really. So I'm going to do 1,517 miles divided by, right now our average is 8.3. And I believe we're going to get that on this trip because of the weight and the areas we're driving in. And that's 182 gallons is how much we're going to use for this trip. And right now, the fuel prices on average from here all the way to New York are going to be about, I'm just going to say $5 even, because over here it's under $5 and over there it's a little over $5. So I'm going to do this, gallons times $5 even, and we get $900. So our expenses for fuel are going to be about $900, and I like to round it up a little bit. So let's just do $920. And then for our truck, it's $34.55 per month divided by 4 weeks equals, we'll just put $864 a month. And then insurance, our bobtail insurance is $745 a month divided by 4 weeks, $187 per week. And then 12% of 8,000 is $960, so that's how much we're paying to our carrier. And then our bobtail insurance, shit, I got this backwards. Okay, so this is the bobtail. And then this is going to be all our other insurances, ELD, blah, 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 blah. Cargo insurance, whatever. Usually about $500 exactly per week. Okay, so all this is kind of messy, but this is just my life. So this is going to be equals 3,431 total expenses, like everything I can possibly think of. Obviously not repairs and stuff, that's like a future thing. And our profit is 4,569. Rule of thumb is I like to have at least 50% profit, and that's a really good load. During busy season, that's pretty easy to get, and when the gas prices are a little better. But as you can see, even with the fuel prices up here, let's say the fuel was what it was, I don't know, a year ago. So it was around $3, a little under $4. It's still $730. So fuel is, of course, a huge thing over time, but it's not going to break you, especially if you're doing good. The fuel, $1 less, would still be $731. So is this the end of the world? 700 versus 900? No, especially if you're still making $8,000 on it and that's still your profit. Like, that doesn't really matter all too much, guys. All right, everyone. So obviously this is a really good load, but it has several stops. So a couple things that I would do during slow season is, for one, try to avoid working during slow season. We don't want to support extremely low rates. That's not something that we want to do in general, all of us as truckers. Freight needs to still get moved, this and that, but we don't want to be out there making the situation worse. So what the best thing I think to do is to avoid the months of February and March if you can. If you focus on working all the other months of the year, you can easily not work during those months, especially if you have other hobbies and other sources of income. You can go focus on those for a while. That's the first tip that I do, and that's what we did this year and last year. The second thing I would do is, if you have to work during this time of year, you definitely cannot just stay stuck in whatever city you're in. If you're regional or local, I don't know what to tell you, but if you're over the road, you can just pick a new spot. So as I told you guys, our old spot was in LA to New York. That, if we were to do that right now, we'd totally go broke. That would be insane. So we've been playing around with other routes. You can go down to Texas, go to the East Coast, Upper East, Southeast, the Midwest. You can play around with all those, and that's what I'd recommend. Don't just stay stuck in your route, because every city has its seasons. It has its good ones and its bad ones. You just need to figure out when those are, and every year it could change. So you just need to stay on your feet and study the rates every year. Another thing I'd recommend is try to find multi-stops, as long as it's not something absurd and outrageous like, oh, go to the north and the south and the east and the west for $5,000. So if you can find it somewhat along the way, like this one's not perfectly on the way, but it's very close to it. Best thing to do to maximize your dollar per mile, especially when the rates are this low, is to do multi-stops. So overall, do less miles, less fuel costs, less wear and tear on your truck, and do multi-stop loads. Normally we don't need to do multi-stop loads, especially during regular season and busy season. It's not even necessary. We get paid sometimes more or the same to do one pick, one drop, and obviously spend less time, especially being a team, because the only thing about multi-stop is it usually takes more time. So a lot of times up to a week to do the whole delivery, which, you know, can be quite a long time for a team, because in 1 week you can do 2 cross-country trips. But this time of the year, we would literally make the same doing a cross-country trip almost twice than this 1,500-mile load that has multi-stops. We would literally make almost the same amount of money, but do, gosh, 6,000 miles versus 1,500 miles, make the same money. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. And if you want to do exactly what we've been doing for the last few years and you guys need help, let me know. Or if you want insights of me on every single load I book every single week, I mean, that's probably something that I could do. Just every single move that I make, just record it and share it with you. That would be totally possible. So let me know how you guys like this video of how I conduct this type of business. Anyways, we're gonna hit the gym now since we have another day off before we pick up this load tomorrow. So we're gonna hit the gym, get some other work done. You guys know we have other websites now, and then we have, you know, we have our vacation rental, and then that's how we've been keeping busy also during this time. And I have content coming up. I've been filming about that. You guys are going to love it. Hey guys, so I forgot to tell you the story of what happened before we got here and booked this load. I'm making my morning coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys a story that I forgot to tell you about what happened before we got here, because I don't think I told it, but we were stuck in Denver for almost 3 days, and we kept trying to book loads and book loads. Either the broker had a bad credit score and we couldn't even book with them, or every time we called they were like, oh, it's taken, oh, it's taken, oh, it's taken. Like, to the point where we were looking at like shitloads just to get back out of the area. And even those loads were taken or canceled. The last load that we booked was like a pretty good load coming out this way, and it was paying $1,200. And then we waited a whole day for that load, and then we got there to the warehouse, and then they were like, oh, we can't load you because our forklift's broke, and then we can't get it fixed till next week. It was like insane, okay? But they did pay us $250, which was enough to pay for the fuel to get back over here. So we ended up deadheading back here. And then what happened was we came here, and it was the best decision, because we could have waited there and waited for another crap load, waste a whole nother several days or whatnot. But instead, we came back over here, and the loads were really good, where we got this amazing load. So sometimes you just gotta fiddle around with it and do all kinds of whack things to make it work, especially during this time of year. But hopefully this video helped you guys come up with ideas for what to do right now if you're in this position. And for next year, who knows? I don't know what next year is gonna be like, but I can't wait to figure that out. I'll get some footage in here of us picking up this load and how the drops go, but talk to you later.